The use of polyvinyl chloride, commonly called PVC conduit within a concrete slab, specifically under a dental chair in a dental office, is generally not permissible based on electrical codes and safety standards. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, sets the standards for electrical installations to ensure safety and proper functionality. Several factors contribute to this restriction. Firstly, the NEC outlines specific requirements for wiring methods in healthcare facilities, which include dental offices. These requirements are designed to minimize the risk of electrical shock and fire, considering the sensitive medical equipment and patient care activities. Secondly, the NEC often requires that wiring methods in concrete slabs be approved for that specific application. While PVC conduit is commonly used for underground installations, its use within a slab, especially in a healthcare setting, may not meet the requirements for mechanical protection and resistance to physical damage. The concern is that the slab could be subjected to settling or other movements, which could damage the conduit and the wires within, creating a potential hazard. Thirdly, the type of occupancy affects the stringency of electrical codes. Healthcare facilities typically have more stringent requirements than general commercial or residential buildings due to the presence of sensitive medical equipment and the potential for patient contact with electrical systems. The NEC has specific articles addressing healthcare facilities, which impose additional requirements on wiring methods. Fourthly, the location and environment also play a crucial role. The area under a dental chair is considered a patient care vicinity, which demands higher safety standards. The potential for moisture, cleaning chemicals, and other environmental factors can degrade PVC conduit over time, increasing the risk of electrical failure. Fifthly, consider the ampacity of the conductors. The NEC specifies ampacity dilating factors for conductors installed in conduit within concrete slabs. The thermal insulation provided by the concrete can reduce the heat dissipation of the conductors, requiring a reduction in the allowable current carrying capacity to prevent overheating. Sixthly, grounding and bonding requirements are more critical in healthcare facilities. The NEC mandates specific grounding and bonding practices to minimize the risk of electrical shock. The metal components of the electrical system must be properly bonded together and grounded to provide a low impedance path for fault currents. The choice of conduit material can affect the effectiveness of the grounding system. Seventhly, local amendments and interpretations of the NEC can vary. The specific requirements may be further defined or modified by the local electrical inspector or authority having jurisdiction, or OJ. These local rules can impose additional restrictions on the use of PVC conduit in concrete slabs in dental offices. Eighthly, the installation must comply with the NEC Article 517, which covers healthcare facilities. This article provides specific requirements for wiring and equipment in patient care areas. The requirements often necessitate the use of metallic conduit or other wiring methods that offer better mechanical protection and grounding capabilities than PVC. Ninthly, the type of equipment installed in the dental office is also a factor. Modern dental chairs and equipment often require dedicated circuits and specific wiring configurations to ensure proper operation and safety. The electrical system must be designed to accommodate these requirements. Tenthly, consider the potential for future modifications or repairs. Electrical systems in dental offices may need to be upgraded or modified over time to accommodate new equipment or changes in the layout. The wiring method used should allow for easy access and modification. PVC conduit, once encased in concrete, can be difficult to access or modify without significant demolition and reconstruction. 11thly, the specific installation details, such as the depth of the conduit within the slab, the type of concrete used, and the presence of reinforcing steel, can also affect the acceptability of PVC conduit. The NEC provides guidelines for these installation details to ensure the integrity and safety of the electrical system. 12thly, consider the long-term reliability of the electrical system. PVC conduit can become brittle or damaged over time, especially when exposed to temperature fluctuations and moisture. The use of more durable materials, such as rigid metal conduit, or RMC, or intermediate metal conduit, or IMC, may be preferred for critical applications in healthcare facilities. 13thly, The electrical system must be designed to minimize the risk of electromagnetic interference, or ME, which can affect sensitive medical equipment. Metallic conduit can provide better shielding against EMI than PVC conduit. 14thly, the inspection process is crucial to ensure compliance with the NEC and local codes. The electrical inspector will verify that the wiring methods, grounding, and bonding are installed correctly and that the electrical system meets all applicable requirements. The inspector may require documentation or testing to demonstrate compliance. 15thly, the choice of wiring method should also consider the potential for future changes in the NEC. The NEC is updated every 3 years, and the requirements for healthcare facilities may change over time. The wiring method used should be adaptable to future code changes. 16thly, specific types of PVC conduit are available for various applications such as Schedule 40, Schedule 80, and in electrical non-metallic tubing. However, the use of any of these types in a concrete slab under a dental chair is still generally discouraged due to the reasons stated above. 17thly, alternative wiring methods that may be more suitable for concrete slabs in healthcare facilities include rigid metal conduit, intermediate metal conduit, electrical metallic tubing, or aimed, and cable in conduit or SIC. These methods offer better mechanical protection and grounding capabilities. 18thly, the electrical system must be designed and installed by qualified electricians who are familiar with the NEC and local codes. Proper training and experience are essential to ensure that the electrical system is safe and reliable. 19thly, the electrical design should be reviewed and approved by a qualified electrical engineer, especially for complex installations in healthcare facilities. The engineer can ensure that the electrical system meets all applicable requirements and is properly coordinated with other building systems. 20thly, consider the potential for water intrusion into the conduit. Concrete is porous and can allow moisture to penetrate the conduit, which can corrode the conductors and create a safety hazard. The conduit should be sealed properly to prevent water intrusion. 21stly, the NEC requires that all electrical equipment be listed and labeled by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories, or UL. The listing ensures that the equipment has been tested and meets applicable safety standards. 22ndly, the electrical system should be inspected and tested regularly to ensure that it is operating properly and safely. The NEC recommends periodic inspections and testing to identify and correct any potential problems. 23rdly, the use of ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, is often required in patient care areas to protect against electrical shock. GFCIs can detect small leakage currents and quickly disconnect the power to prevent injury. 24thly, the electrical system should be designed to minimize the risk of voltage drops, which can affect the performance of sensitive medical equipment. The NEC provides guidelines for voltage drop calculations to ensure that the voltage at the equipment terminals is within acceptable limits. 25thly, the electrical system should be protected against overcurrents such as short circuits and overloads. The NEC requires the use of circuit breakers and fuses to protect the wiring and equipment from damage. 26thly, the electrical system should be designed to minimize the risk of arc flash, which is a dangerous electrical explosion that can cause severe burns and injuries. The NEC provides guidelines for arc flash hazard analysis and mitigation. 27thly, the electrical system should be properly documented, including drawings, specifications, and maintenance records. This documentation is essential for troubleshooting, maintenance, and future modifications. 28thly, the electrical system should be designed to be energy efficient and to minimize waste. The NEC provides guidelines for energy efficient design, such as the use of high efficiency lighting and equipment. 29thly, the electrical system should be designed to be environmentally friendly and to minimize its impact on the environment. The NEC provides guidelines for environmentally friendly design, such as the use of recyclable materials and the reduction of energy consumption. 30thly, the electrical system should be designed to be aesthetically pleasing and to blend in with the overall design of the building. The NEC provides guidelines for aesthetic design, such as the use of concealed wiring and equipment. 31stly, in summary, while PVC conduit has its place in electrical installations, its application within a concrete slab under a dental chair in a dental office presents significant concerns related to code compliance, safety, and long-term reliability. Alternative wiring methods, such as metallic conduit, are generally preferred for such applications in healthcare facilities. Always consult with a qualified electrical engineer and the local authority having jurisdiction to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and standards.